Hi there, I'm Dean with American Civil Debate. I'm here with Lori Lehman. She is running for the Cape Coral District 2 City Council seat. I'm going to let Lori tell you a little bit about herself.
Good morning. I'm Lori Lehman. I have lived in District 2 since 2004. I'm a retired RN. Nursing was a second career for me. I also have an accounting degree and worked for a commercial construction company, family-owned business up in New Jersey. And I want the citizens to be heard, and I don't think they are, which is why I'm running.
Sounds like a good reason, Lori. Okay, so we have some questions that Foshin and I and the folks that visit American Civil Debate, they've asked these questions over and over again. And we're going over these same questions with each of the candidates that wants to talk with us. So the first question, as usual, has come up as the J.C. Park. And the controversy, I'll call it a controversy, between what a lot of the citizens that have lived here for a long time versus what the city council is looking to do with the park. What's your feelings on the J.C. Park issue?
Okay, I've been working with the Save J.C. Park group since long before I became a candidate. I didn't start doing things in the city and being involved in the city when I became a candidate. I started long before that with J.C. Park. No, I am not in favor of these they call them, quote, improvements that they're making. Upgrades, yes. But I honestly feel that what they want to do doesn't fly. J.C. Park is an 11-acre park, whereas Festival Park up in the Northwest is 118 acres. And I've asked them the logic in why would you want to do the same thing to 118 acres that you want to do to 11 acres. Explain the logic to me in this, and it's fallen on deaf ears. We're not letting this go. The Save J.C. Park group, we're not letting this go. We are still going to, till the bulldozers get there, we're going to keep fighting. I have now gone for I'm trying to get the verification letters. I've applied to Public Records. I'm waiting to hear from them. One of the gentlemen who's involved with the park has an attorney, and we've been working with him. You know, he's been working with the attorney, because we're not going to let this go. We're going to fight this till the bulldozers get there on October 6th.
Do you think anything can be done to overturn, from what I understand, the council voted to move forward with this
Yes, they
$16 to $18 million project. Do you think that there's anything that you as a new city council person or just citizens in general can do?
We're trying, and without letting the cat out of the bag,
Okay.
we are trying.
You got plans?
Yes, we do have
Okay,
plans.
good.
We do have things we are trying to do.
Awesome.
And hopefully we will be successful. I've even gone so far as to speak to Connie Barron about my concerns and with the improvements we want to make. And I've talked to her about those, and it kind of fell on deaf ears. I'm saying, okay, yes, update the bathrooms, build a few more, put in a few more pavilions.
Right.
But the two pavilions that are there now, the bathrooms, make it a community project, make it a scout project with the painting and whatnot. Now, obviously not the plumbing and that kind of thing, or the building, but any way you can get the community involved in it, it now becomes more important.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea, getting community involvement, especially like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts.
Yes. Yes.
Helping out. I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. Well, the Girl Scouts, with them putting in a bar, the Girl Scouts will not be able to have meetings there. They will not be able to attend the park
Interesting.
because there's going to be alcohol
Yeah, I've
sold
never
and
heard
consumed.
of them selling alcohol at a county park or a state park even.
It's not a state park, it's a city park.
City park, yeah.
And there are different distinctions, which is why I'm not about to let the cat out of the bag with the whole thing. Yeah, I don't want to tip anyone off,
That's fine,
kind
Lori.
of thing.
So, same questions about the yacht club. Obviously it got destroyed in Ian.
No, it did not get destroyed in
building.
Ian. No, the building did not get
Huh?
destroyed
Okay.
in Ian. They got estimates of $750,000 to repair things that needed to be repaired at the yacht club.
Okay.
But instead of going ahead with that, they turned around and leveled the whole thing. So now we have this leveled mess. And the yacht club ballroom, most of us, when we all came here, we met with the new residence group. We've gone to dances there. We've gone to all kinds of things there.
Right.
And because the yacht club ballroom was the oldest building in Cape Coral. It was 50 years old.
I've heard that.
Yes, and now they've leveled the whole thing, and God only knows when they're going to get moving on this. And it's not going to be 18 million. It's going to be hundreds of millions
Oh, wow.
to repair. Because now they're starting from ground level up. And they're talking about with this parking garage that the citizens, in order to park there, we're going to have to pay to park there. Not fair. If our tax dollars are going to build it,
Should
then
be able to park there.
if we have to pay to park there, that's like double dipping.
Right.
And that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. Not only that, there isn't going to be enough available handicap parking so that if you're going to the beach, say with grandchildren, with young kids, you're going to drop them off by the beach by themselves so you can go over to the parking garage to park and come back? Or you're going to expect them to walk all the way over from the parking garage? We're losing a lot of the logic in a lot of these things. A lot of these plans lose a lot of the logic.
Interesting.
And I keep poking the bear and rattling cages and bringing it up,
And the
and it
monies,
gets nowhere.
the monies seem phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
for
and
a
every
city
time,
this
every
size.
6 months that they delay it, it's going to go up more.
Sure. Everything's going
You know,
up.
It's not right.
Speaking of things going up, people are really hitting us on these stipends for the city council members. Namely, not so much whether the position warrants the additional monies, but rather that it wasn't put up for public vote. Rather the council voted to give themselves a raise instead of the people deciding.
Well, okay. If they had called it a salary increase, it had to be voted on by the citizens. Because they called it a stipend, it didn't have to be voted on. And with getting rid of all the volunteer committees, that was the current council's justification for the stipend, because now with getting rid of the volunteer committees, they have to handle all of this. So it increased the time with their jobs. And there are current council people that have full-time jobs.
I'm sure.
So they had to have the justification for this. And one of the first things I want to see happen, that stipend needs to be stopped. That shouldn't be. We need to bring back the volunteer committees. And in addition to the volunteer committees we had before, we also need a charter review committee. Because there are a lot of ordinances and a lot of things in the charter that the charter says one thing and the council and city government is doing something else. The two are not the same. and they need to be. We need to, current council and, well, the council and city government all need to be doing things according to the charter. That's why we have a charter.
Makes sense.
Yes. So I think we need to have a charter review committee. And there's such a wealth of knowledge within the city and people who want to volunteer their time and to make the city better. This is home. Cape Coral is home. Let's make home better.
Right.
There's so much potential. Let's make it better.
I like it. I like it. So, along the same range, it seems like money keeps coming up with all these different things
Yes,
that
it
people
does.
are annoyed with.
Of course.
The utility notices that I know, Foshin and I know a couple folks up in the northeast section of town that are getting the letter, the dreaded letter about the utilities coming in. And now, from what we understand, we're talking $35,000 to $40,000 to
That's
hook up.
just, yes, but that's just to run the city water and sewer up the street. Then to connect, and all homes will be required to connect. When they connect, that's an additional charge. And when you have to connect the reclaimed water for your sprinkler system, that's an additional charge. They're not telling you that. But not only that, this $35,000, I'm questioning because Punta Gorda Port Charlotte is only charging their homeowners $18,000. I think we need to talk to Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte. What are they doing differently than what we're doing? You know, we need to have a comparison so that we're justifying if it's going to cost $35,000, which is roughly almost double what Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda are doing. Well, then, excuse me, what's the difference? What are we missing the boat? Are they missing the boat? Let's see what's going on here. Let's get to the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, especially with these JC Park and the Yacht Club expenses that they're anticipating. It just seems crazy.
Well, not only that, that $35,000, your average person doesn't have $35,000 sitting
No.
around that they can just pay all at once.
Right.
So now if they put it into their taxes and they can finance it over a 20-year period, well, at the current interest rate, it's going to cost them over $100,000.
Wow.
Like $130,000, $140,000.
So they actually charge interest on
Oh,
the
yes.
amount
Oh,
if you
yes.
pay it over time on your
Yes,
taxes.
they don't do it for free.
Jeez.
I went
Alright.
into that when I first moved to Cape Coral in the Southwest. It was $20,000.
Uh-huh.
And yes, once it was in, you were required to hook up, which was an additional cost to me. And the sprinklers were an additional cost to me.
Wow.
And no, at that time, I didn't have $20,000 sitting around.
Sure.
And I paid it over time, not 20 years, no. Because then when I kind of got my head together with the whole thing, I called them and I said, okay, I want to pay this off now and get this taken off my taxes.
Gotcha.
And I did. But even still, it cost me more than $20,000.
I'm sure, especially with
And
the interest rates.
and the interest rates were lower back
Yeah.
20 years ago.
They sure were. Sure were. And that kind of leads into the next question that people are talking about here in Cape Coral is the increased property tax that notices that they're getting.
Yes.
It just seems like the citizens are getting hit with a lot of financial expectations,
Yes.
but they're not having a lot of say in the way the monies are being spent.
And that's why I'm running, because I want to change that. Citizens have to have a say. My opponent has said, you know, everyone should be thrilled because now the median price of homes in Cape Coral is $800,000. And I've said, wait a minute. You know, if the median age group in Cape Coral is 45 years, I don't know many 45-year-old families, even in a two-income household, that can afford an $800,000 home out the door. And not only that, then my opponent has also said, and you should all be thrilled because we didn't raise the millage rate. And I turn around and I say, you're right, you didn't raise the millage rate. Instead, you reevaluated all our homes at a higher level to get to the 800,000. And oh gee, guess what? Our taxes still went up.
Yep.
Because now you're being taxed on a higher value on your house.
That makes sense. I often talk to people that are buying a home here, and I'm like, you know, that was the tax last year. Don't expect it to be the same when the county or the city reevaluates your property value after the sale of the property.
Oh, yes.
So,
because as soon as you change the deed, and I went through this when I inherited my current home, as soon as you change the name on the deed, the home is reassessed.
Yep. Yep.
And you don't think they're assessing it at a lower rate. It don't work that way.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. Along with the property tax increases, we're all getting hit with insurance and flood insurance
Increases
here. It's just crazy. A lot of folks that live in a flood zone.
I do live in a flood zone.
They don't even have insurance.
I know. There are a lot of people that have said, you know, hey, I live in a flood zone, yes, but I'm not on a canal, so I'm not going to spend that money on flood insurance. Now, I personally am not of that mindset. I would rather be insured as a just in case type of situation. But yes, property taxes, homeowners insurance, flood insurance, they've all gone up. But in the same respect, we live in the hurricane capital of the world.
Right.
So now, we get hit, now, God forbid we get hit with another hurricane like Ian, but if we do, we get hit with a hurricane, you want to know that it's not coming out of your pocket to replace your roof, to replace your fence, to replace this, to replace that. Hence the reason for the insurance. And, you know, no, none of us are thrilled with the increased value on our homeowners insurance and on our flood insurance. But I think because of the hurricane, that's why our costs have all gone up so much. And I'm sorry, but Ian was an act of God. And you can't control an act of God.
That's true.
And unfortunately, now we just handle the aftermath.
Ian was probably the worst hurricane I've been through, that's for sure. And I've been here for a lot of them.
Yeah, I've never left my house for the last... I've been in Florida since 1990. I lived up in the Tampa area first until 2004. And I've stayed in my house through every